Right. Yes, I am live. We are live. I am live. You are live. We are live. This is live. No mommy. Just talking to myself at the moment. All right. um, Today's episode. Well, first, welcome. Come well into another doorway, another portal, another opening, another episode entitled "Am I as I am as you are?" Today, I'm going to be touching upon, because you see my videos. My videos are entitled um, "One Plus One Equals One," and then after that, you have what is this, or what does this mean, or what is that, or what is this, and I'll go on into the topics of what I'm talking about, what I'm going to be, elaborating on in that specific moment to fully cover the topic of that specific video. But and I always have one plus one equals one. But I'm not too sure if I fully opened up the understanding of what one plus one equals one actually means. Um, well, it's not really hard to understand. It's not really difficult to grasp. It's quite simple. It's quite simple. Um, so I'm just going to dive right into it and open up. What is one plus one, or what does one plus one equal one actually mean? What does that mean? Why do you keep seeing that on the titles, or as a presentation or presenting a title or a topic, or the title presenting the topic? Well, let's get to what the title is, and what does that title mean? One plus one equals one. A lot of understanding from that title from my videos comes from a section in my book. There's a section in my book, and it's in the beginning. This kind of gives like more clarity to what I mean, or what is meant, or what one plus one equals one is actually implying. And there's a section in here called "Who and What Really Is This That I Call My Partner, My Wife, My Mate, My Husband, my lady, my man, my woman, my man, my significant other, my companion." You know, it kind of breaks down or gives a more simple understanding of what I'm talking about, what I'm saying, in reference to the understanding of what does one plus one equal one actually mean. Um, so I guess we can get right into it, and I'm just going to dive into it and open it up, and take it from here. Okay. First, understanding one plus one equals one. It's more like, instead of one plus one, because the plus can actually kind of throw off the metaphysical understanding of these two ones, these first two ones, and this third one that is after the equal sign. But it's more like one on one, or the one within the one, not one to one, or one plus one, or one to one. Because one to one or one plus one is more of a redirecting or redirection of self away from itself. This main path and focus is to keep focus entirely on self primarily, and secondary anything else. But to keep focused entirely on self and nothing else, primarily, not totally throughout the whole relationship or your marriage. You can't do that. That individual, even though that individual is your creation, um, you still have to acknowledge your creation. Um, because that keeps your creation live, or it supports life or liveliness, livelihood, to be live. And that's why I have a section in the book as well, love or live, or is it live or love, one of the two. And I'm saying, would you actually choose to be loved or choose to be acknowledged as something and or someone who is live? Would you rather be ignored and loved, or would you rather be acknowledged as the live living thing that you are by someone that you care about? Right? So instead of one plus one, it's more like one on one, or the one within the one. Not one to one, because one to one is more of a redirecting or redirection of self away from its primary self. This main path and the focus of this path is to keep focus entirely on self and nothing else. Be only for self as the self itself. Okay, be only for self as the self itself. Once again, this is not saying to ignore your mates, but if your mate is your creation, even by you keeping the focus and attention on yourself, that is a direct reflection of you keeping attention on them. Because if they're your creation and you're focused entirely on yourself, then you give them acknowledgement and keep them live in that present moment, which is better. Um, which is, I mean, I say better, but I would prefer to be acknowledged as someone live than someone just saying, "Yeah, I love you." You know, if I had to use that word, LOVE. Yeah, I love you. Yeah, right. And just turn away from you. Would you like that? No. You want them to acknowledge you in your live moment, in your life, that you're being present right now. Right? Mm. That's all that one plus one equals one means. One plus one equals one. See, it's a keeping of focus and attention on yourself, the self, as self, itself. Okay? Like I said, there's nothing outside you. Whatever you're experiencing on the outside actually resides within you. Okay? Next line in doorway is man, the coming together of man and woman is or can lead to potential reproduction. From that point forward, they become the title of mother and father. Um, you look at the word mother, which is M other, and the word father, which is actually the word farther. So mother and father is the other and the farther, or the other and the farthest. To become other than self and furthest from self before offspring comes along. This is the point, to become other than self and furthest from self before offspring comes along. And during the growth and development of offspring, meaning no matter what situations and circumstances that happen in life's ongoings and oncomings, the intelligence and purpose of principle never leaves. Therefore, you can't ever and will never escape its grasp, and will always function and operate as it, and will eventually return back to its calling, whether you know it, whether you know of it or not. It doesn't care about your human situations you put yourself in and find yourself in. Its only purpose is itself, always, and nothing else. Nothing else, according to it, is in existence but it. And you are it, and composed of it, comprised of it. You operate as it, and you function as it, which is principle. The truth of something, of a word, is within the word itself. Mother means other. Father means farther. Other and farther. And since you two are one, 1 + 1 = 1, then there's a deeper understanding that's going on between what we call parents. Even though we look at the word parents, I mentioned this before in my older videos, the word parents is the same understanding as the word apparent, or a parent is the same word as the word apparent, which means apparently, which means seemingly, which means not really there. So, what's the principle that we are supposed to be extracting from the understanding of a parent or parent? That they're not really there. And they hold this title of mother and they hold this title of father. But inside these words, mother and father, you drop the M and you have the word other. You add an R to father and you have the word farther. Other, farther. So it's to become other than yourself and farthest from your personality. To become other than the personality of yourself. To become furthest from that surface dweller, that human aspect of yourself. And that goes in the mother and father, the parents, and that goes also within the understanding of the child, seeing the interaction of mother and father, and keeping in mind of the titles of mother and father as a deeper underlying metaphysical purpose. Okay, so even within the very words, the metaphysical truth is there, and it always has been there, and it always will be there, no matter how a word is spelled, no matter what disguise something puts on. The body which put on the costume and mask and disguise will always reveal itself in between the words, behind the words, and the different scrambling of the same letters of that word. It'll always give way, it'll always make way for itself to be seen, realized, and acknowledged in true, deep, genuine awareness of your surroundings and within self. For those on this path to understand what the hell I'm talking about. Anybody else, I just sound fucking crazy. And I'm good with that. Because this path is meant to filter out, meant to collect and filter, filter and collect. Or gather and filter, filter and gather. This path that I'll be touching upon with these videos, this is not for mass population. I don't look forward to a mass population. It will filter what it filters and it will gather what it gathers. And that's where exactly where I'm supposed to be and who I'm supposed to be conveying this message to. And sharing with me as well, vice versa. And together we, transform. Okay. The next line in our doorway is between you and your mate, you and your man, or you and your woman. Understand this, according to this path. Do not seek to be a couple. You're not a couple. Seek to become a single. So you say, yeah, we're a couple. When you say you and him or you or her are a couple, you're keeping the one split. See, so you want to keep the one together as one thing. 1 + 1 = 1. There's no 2, 3, 4, 5. So your whole language, your whole perception, your whole mindset has to be, or according to this path, should be on this point of focus. And it should be at this specific intention and attention. Don't seek to be a couple. Don't even call yourself a couple. Seek to be a single. And not single meaning that you're not with her anymore, you're not with him anymore. Why can't you two define yourself as a singular phenomenon, a singular thing? Because it is something which keeps you two together, right? And it's one thing that we call bondage, bonding, companionship, compatibility, whatever you want to call this. It's always one thing in the middle keeping the two together. So are the two really there? This is why you never veer too far away from the number one or the understanding of the number one from a metaphysical point of view and through the lens of occult science, OCCULT, science. Okay. Um, the energy itself, if you notice between you and your mate, the energy itself, if I'm whispering in her ear and I'm whispering in his ear, and I'm saying the energy itself seeks cohesion and infusion. That's why two seek each other to come together to become one. In confirmation and validation of the evidence of the one. The reason why both hold residence in each other's mind and heart, attention, and focus. And it's the very evidence of two, so-called two, right? Two is also this, meaning seemingly, apparently, two, right? That's what they say, well, quotes. The reason why both hold residence in each other's mind, their heart, and attention. The sharing of one plan and commitment to one goal. So, yeah, this, if you want to say there's two of you, why do you share one goal? Why do you create these one plans and have these one goals together? What does that even activity come from? Why don't you have two separate plans? Because you're moving as one. Four legs are actually two legs. If the true understanding of this path is fully embraced and put into application, of this specific path is truly embraced and put into application. See, and when two come together, what I'm just getting right now, I just put my fingers just now, two come together, that twist or that Twizzler, that twist or that swirl into each other. This is also symbolic of the helix, the DNA, or what people know as the caduceus, the intertwining of the snake-like energy. So two is actually one, and the one infused to become one DNA helix, which is why two, so-called two people come together and penetration, conception creates the DNA helix of the new child. You can see it's in the language, it's also within the hand gestures, it's in the shape, it's in the geometry. Everything is geometrically perfect and aligned. In symbolism, and numbers, and letters, and words, and spellings. Um, Everything is right there for you to understand. If you have some kind of awareness of self and some kind of inkling of self-realization with control and discipline to not let certain things interrupt this path, to apply this action with least interferences, disruptions, and interruptions and distractions as possible. And that which is of the body, basically. Because that's all that shit is, just the body. Thoughts and feelings, feelings and thoughts. Okay, so stop calling yourself a couple. I wouldn't advise anyone to call themselves a couple. You're not a couple, you're a single. Every time you say couple, you're validating him. You say couple, you're validating her. You're splitting something which is not actually split to begin with. It never was split. Even talking in a certain language brings about the splitting of a reality which was never split to begin with. You start to perceive in this split, and you start to become the left brain and right brain hemisphere rather than the corpus calostrum, which sprouts about the cloud or the clouding of a left brain and right brain hemisphere. From the beating that derives from the beating of a heart during embryogenesis. During embryogenesis, the heart first formed because it is the beating, it is the cosmic pulse, the midichlorian. It is the pulse, it's the beat, the pulse, the wave, the rhythm, creating the corpus calostrum, to bring about this cloud or clouding of what we know as a brain. Why do you think it's called the brain? I was just having this conversation earlier, someone with another creation of mine. We're all creations of each other. It doesn't matter who you come amongst. Outside, laundromat store, your brain, it clouds, it creates this clouding effect inside the skull, which is a gray and white matter that you call your brain. Why do you think it's called the brain? The word rain is inside of brain because it's a cloud. It's a split cloud. Rain, cloud, cloud, rain. They say, stop clouding your mind. You're clouding your mind. Sound like, man, cloud mind. You cloudy right now. Make some cloudy in there. You're clouding your mind. Why do you think they call it that? Or you ever heard that term? It's a raining effect, and this raining effect is how you think or your thoughts. It rains down into your bloodstream and it trickles to your spinal column, your spinal cord. It trickles all the way down into your bloodstream. Right? The rain creates a stream as well. This whole language is connected. A lake, a river, an ocean. Rain creates a stream, the bloodstream, which you thoughts that you hold in place rain down into your blood and create a bloodstream or into the bloodstream and creates a streaming through your veins and your arteries and your organs in this physical vessel. And then you become your thoughts and your feelings rather than the path of the heart, which is once again the midichlorian intelligence. Okay. So stop splitting two into one. It wouldn't be, that's not recommended on this path to split two into one. Anything that comes in twos, threes, fours, and fives, find the one or the one thing that ties all these things together. It's like a multicolored shoestring, but they're all tied together, but they're tied together within one knot. The one knot is more important and of more relevance and significance than all the different colored shoestrings that are shooting out in different directions. But how are they all connected through that one knot that's tied in the middle? That's the most important. Find the one knot. This is the challenge. Find the one knot in anything and everything. And everyone, so-called anyone and everyone that you're amongst and interact and connect with. What is the one connection that you have? All of you, of all different walks of life, all different languages, all different beliefs, anything and everything, anyone and everyone. Keep the attention and focus on what is the one main thing, because that one is always trying to communicate to you. It's always talking to you. Always. Through symbology, colors, shapes, things that are simple, because the mind is a simple thing. It's not something that it's not a technical, complex thing. It's a very simple thing. So look for the message in the most simple, because the most simple is the most profound and the most defined. It's the most defined and the most profound. Become simple-minded. Receive that message. And to receive the message, of course, the word message, look at that, and that just means the age of Messiah. So become the age of Messiah. Become the Messiah of your age. Receive the message. Okay? Absolutely. I see you, eh? It's appreciated, family. I know you here and you here. That's where you at. You here and you here. You anywhere and everywhere. It's appreciated, man. No doubt, brother. The next line of doorway is self-reflection. A lot of people say this. Self-reflection. What is self-reflection? How do I self-reflect? What is this self-reflection thing about? Self-reflection is about self-elimination. This is how you get to the core of what self-reflection truly is by self-reflecting is actually a result of self-eliminating, eliminating the self. Self-reflection is self-elimination, right? But to make it even deeper, self-reflection is also about self-inspection. Are you inspecting yourself? Like a truck goes through inspection before it crosses bridges. Well, before you cross this physical bridge to the unphysical bridge, and then from the unphysical bridge back to the physical bridge, are you going through your own daily or moment to moment, momentary inspections? Right? Vehicles, this is known as a vessel. A vessel is also known as a vehicle, this body. So as you bridge, being the bridge, crossing the bridge from one side of a reality to another side of reality, and that side of reality to another side of reality, being the vehicle, filling your vehicle up with gas. As you're going back and forth through travel, are you going through your momentary inspections? Are you inspecting? Are you evaluating? Are you analyzing yourself? Because doing this is a certain kind of cleansing, like scrubbing the tub, or you know, whatever the hell you call that damn thing. Oh shit, I forgot the name of that. But you're cleaning the house, and this is the inspection, evaluation, analyzation. You're analyzing yourself. You're inspecting yourself. Like I said before, trucks that carry heavy loads. What heavy loads are you carrying? Because if you're carrying heavy loads, which is nothing but a product of the brain and the body, because this shit is meant to carry. It's supposed to carry things. It's supposed to carry a weight or make a weight on you, some kind of weight on you. These heavy loads that you're traveling and carrying from one dimension to another, from one reality to another, from one truth to another, are you going through daily inspections of carrying these heavy loads on your brain and in your body, weighing down on your heart's path, on this path of these videos, of what this whole damn thing is about, and what my book is about? See, so you have to, just like a truck goes through its inspections, you have to go through your own inspections. And you have to go through your own inspections in sections. See? Self-realization is about self-inspection. What this also means is search for that true speck or spectacle that you truly are. Once again, it's in the word, right? Inspection, speck, which means the most tiny, minute, super microscopic thing that you are, which is once again your midichlorian, if you want to break it, if you want to take it to that again. So you're searching for that true speck, but how do you get to that true speck? You have to be it. You have to become it. You have to acknowledge it and direct your attention to it. Redirect your attention away from the distraction and the interference and the interruptions that you have created for yourself. You created for yourself, whether it's your girl, whether it's your man, whether it's your job, whether it's your school, whether it's your family, whether it's society, your neighborhood, your area, your neighbor, your town, your city, your state. When you keep the news you keep putting on, whatever you're doing, you as a focused entity create your own distractions. So don't blame it on anything outside there, because you're a God, a God. You are a creator as well, and you are creating your own distractions. Okay? So you have to first put that to the side, and then you have to slide back inside self. You have to search for that true speck or spectacle that you truly are. And self-elimination. What do I mean by self-elimination? Self-elimination means lamination. What does it mean to laminate something? To cover something or slip that something inside of something, escape all the air out that something, and seal it, right? So self-reflection is self-inspection, is about self-inspection and self-elimination. Elimination is elamination or laminated energy. To laminate that found speck or speck you discover within yourself to ultimately become one with your transparent force. To covenant and extreme. To encase air or HEIR, air, an heir to a throne, right? Either AIR, to encase air, AIR, or to encase the air, which is HEIR, meaning to crown and throne the unknown zone, which is that hidden aspect in yourself. Right? So, once again, self reflection is about self inspection and self elimination. Self reflection is about self inspection and self elimination. When you start the process of self eliminating or self elimination, then you can start to have more clarity or more of a clear field or clear skies to self inspect. And then you receive the reward of self realization. See, there's different levels of clarity or different clearing stages or stages of clearing to self realization. First, you have to do the inspection, but you have to do the inspection by first putting your focus on eliminating what you have gathered, what you have accumulated as your false self, as your fake self, or as your accumulated self, or as your physical bound self. Because the physicality or anything physical is subject to gravity and it's keeping you engraved, it's keeping you graved down. So you first have to eliminate anything that is gravity bound because it's keeping you as a subject of gravity. And as you start unpeeling this, you start just rising automatically because you're taking off the layers of gravity. See, so you're taking it off. Fasting as well is also a certain kind of process as well. Absolutely. It's also a certain kind of process. But understand, even fasting, depending on where you're at, because some people just do it to lose weight, some people just do it to look nice, to have a nice body shape, and that's just all bullshit. You're fasting to get to that zero self or that emptiness of self. And people look in the mirror and they like how they look and they start going to the gym and it's like, damn, it's like, you was on that, but then you kind of just veered off. You know what I'm saying? Some people do that. But if you can do it based upon the spiritual aspect and keep your mind attention on just the spiritual accomplishment or the spiritual mission, then you GOOD with an exclamation point at the end. You know what I'm saying? So self-reflection is about self-inspection and self-elimination. Elamination, to be a laminated energy or to laminate that found speck that you discover within yourself. To ultimately become your transparent force, to be transparent. See, to be transparent and to transcend beyond this physical dimension, beyond this physical gravity bound reality that you're currently within at this moment. Okay. The next line in the doorway is it is to suspend. You involve in order to evolve, meaning engaging or interacting with your mate. You involve in order to evolve. You involve to witness the other or to witness your creation. To resolve, which is witness the witnesses itself and confront the one being watched. In order to evolve, which is to remain completely within the self-witnesser as your platform or station of governance and covenants, and act as a secondary participator from your primary point of self-involvement. So basically what you're doing is you're utilizing the principle of participation for your own self-activation with your own creation. I don't want to get too wordy to where people are like, well, okay, I was following you, but damn, Blue, you just kind of, I don't know where you went. You lost me. So yeah, we do this to suspend. We interact with our mate for the goal of suspension, to suspend. You involve in order to evolve, right? I'm involving myself with you in order to evolve myself. Remember, there's always 1 + 1 = 1. No matter how much I reach out, if I reach out 1 inch, I'm reaching in 10 inches. If I reach out 10 inches, I'm reaching in 100 inches. So make sure, according to this path, you're reaching in far more than you're reaching out. At the very moment that you're reaching out, make sure you're reaching in more though, because reaching out can leave you out there in the outside illusion. No matter how spiritual or where you are still susceptible to this gravity bound experience. You can be greatly susceptible to this gravity bound experience because the principle of attention always is and always will be. Of potential always is and always will be. The principle of potential, which means it can go either or. Which is why sometimes people become too spiritual and they feel like going outside and just getting a slice of pizza or going, going to the grocery store and the corner store, the bodega, and buying a bag of M&Ms when they're too spiritual. They just feel like they have this taste. One direction leads to the other. And when people are too in nonsense, they're like, damn, I need something to wake me up. And they turn to spiritual enlightenment. Left leads to the right, right leads to the left. Absolutely. So, you want to suspend. You involve in order to evolve. Involving means that you're witnessing the other, or you're witnessing a projection, an outer projection of your internal creation. You're witnessing the other, so-called other. To resolve. Resolve is in the process of resolving, you witness the witness itself and confront the one being watched. The one being watched is the ego, what we know as the ego, or the personality, or the behavior, or the humanistic characteristics, or the human characteristics, the physical bound, gravity bound creature, because you're the creator and your body is your creature. Did you know that? You are the creator and your personality and your body is your own custom made creature. Like Blue, I am a custom made creature for the creator that I am. See, Blue, I am my own creature. Blue is a creature. And I am a creature that works for my own creative mechanism, my own creative function. See, so I work for me, or me works for I. It's a bit about understanding. Me works for I. See? So when you're resolving, when you involve or are involving yourself with your mate, what's going on is you're just witnessing, or you're being a witness to your creation, which is of your projection, internal projection, that just seems like it's outside of you. During the resolve, to resolve, that means that you witness the witness itself and confront the one being watched. This is the whole point of self-realization as well. Self-inspection. You're witnessing, you're being the witness or witnessing the witness itself and confronting the one being watched. Because your ego is the one being watched by your witness. You are actually just witnessing your whole experience. And your personality, your body, your image is the one being watched. Which is why you can look at your body right now and watch your movements. If you are your body, you cannot see your body. Think about that. If you truly were your body. So we involve to resolve in order to evolve. We involve to resolve in order to evolve. And to evolve is to remain completely within the self witnesser, and the self witnesser being the platform or the station of governance and covenants. And during that, being bound to that understanding. You act as a secondary participator, but from your primary point of self involvement, being involved with yourself in order to evolve yourself. See, so you're being the witness, and then you project a secondary participator from the witnesser. And that secondary participator is the one being watched by the witnesser that you are. See? And that participator is the one who is the involved one, involving himself or herself in an interaction and engagement with another, which is nothing but a creation from that projection. So you see, 1 plus 1 equals 1. Everything always resorts back to self. This is the result, or the resort. This is source. Nothing gets too far from here. And even if it does, it automatically, systematically, ultimately returns back to that which it protruded from, or that which it derived from. Because where it derived from and where it protruded from is its main station of being. No matter how much it's doing out here, it has to return back to its being or keep a direct connection with this being, because it cannot be doing unless it's still fully connected to its being. There is no doing this without beingness, okay? So, like I said, once again, just utilize the principle of participation, but for what? For your own, towards your own self-activation, okay? The next line in the doorway is, we exist to extinct ourselves. We exist to extinct ourselves. We reach outward in order to reach inward from the circle and point of self-awareness and self-realization. See, so it's like, it's like that term, we live to die, we die to live, we live to die. It's the same kind of damn understanding, same kind of wording, same kind of understanding. So it's like, we're returning back to wherever the hell we came from. So we actually exist ourselves in order to extinct ourselves, which means no matter how many ones come about, it always derives back from a zero and always returns back to that zero. So the one is actually the highest number. It's the only number and the highest number, if we were to say that, because we can only be in our own mind or our own corner of mind or within our own experience. I can't be in your mind and your experience. I can only be here, now, present, in this moment. So we know there's something about the one, but it's funny because when you turn the one back upon itself, it goes back into a zero state of being, which is what we know as self-inspection, self-realization, self-elimination. So 100110001. This is funny connection between these two so-called numbers. And I call them numbers are they called numbers? Well, I said they were called numbers because the word num is inside of the word number. It's a numbing. You can feel it, but you can't really feel it. You can feel it, but you can't really feel it. I feel like I'm one, but also when you start to go into a self-realization or process of self-realization, you become numb to that number. When you become numb, numb is something which is actually the same word as the word none. Numb, none. None. Numb is also directly connected to the word and understanding of None. And you can look at the word none. Why does it have the word one inside of it? One, none, none, one. Everything is connected. Everything is connected, okay, into a middle point of understanding. Okay, I'm saying all this is to get more into your abstract understanding and involvement with yourself, to have a relationship with this self, mostly rather than other creations or your creation that you are amongst every day when you come home from work or leave to go to work or go to school, or you have kids with your creation. You don't have kids with your wife. You bring about offspring with your creation. You don't have kids with your husband. You bring about offspring with your creation. And your creation had to have a reproductive system or to have a lingam or a yoni, whatever it may be, whatever kind of sex that you are, it had to be of the opposite nature to bring about that third potential or that third possibility. But there's nothing and no one outside of you. That has to be understood. Just understand certain principles of words like obliteration, annihilation, destruction. These definitions will bring about a little more clarity. Absolutely. Absolutely. I see you later. So think more in the mind of one. And that one, being more in the mind of one, will ultimately, inevitably bring you to the core of zero. Because you're totally focused on self. See, you're not touching her, you're touching yourself. You're not touching him, you're touching yourself. That was a long time ago when I was in the path, from the beginning of my path. And I was conversating with a few so-called spiritual, enlightened individuals. And they were talking about God, or his concepts of God, and I'm just sitting back quiet. And I'm just looking at them talking. Just listening, observing what was being held in place in conversation. I'm just, and they asked me, yo, Blue. I was like, what up? What do you think God is? I see, you really want to know what I think? What you calling, that energy you calling is, truly is? They said, yeah, what up? Like, what you think that is? Like, what's your definition of it? What is it to you? And I said, well, if I had to put a personality to it, a humorous personality to it, that thing that you call God or God is a pervert. And they were like they found it as kind of like shocking. Some found it disrespectful, some found it shocking. I don't give a shit though. And I'm like, wait, but what do you mean by that, brother? What do you mean that? Why would you say that God is a pervert? I don't understand. Like, why would you say it that? Why would you say it in that way? Why would you find that energy or that presence, the the omnipotent presence or whatever they called it? Why would you call it that? Isn't that kind of derogatory? I'm saying, well, don't look at it the title. Look at it as the definition of what it means, a pervert. No. Um, I said, because they said, well, why would you say that? I said, well, if everything is it, it is everything. No matter what it touches or grabs or grasps, it's always touching itself. So that's why I said God is a pervert, but in a funny, humorous way. It wasn't meant to be taken personal. It was, I said out of humor. I said, what do you think God is? I said, oh, God is a pervert, if you ask me. Because everything it touches is only touching itself. What do you think you are? You're not touching your wife. You're not holding your husband or your man or your woman. You're holding, grasping, grabbing yourself. You're embracing yourself, no matter which. This cup right now, that's how true it is. I'm holding this cup. I'm not holding this cup. I'm holding myself. Everything. I'm not touching this plant. I'm touching myself. I am the creator or the creative aspect. There is nothing outside of me, including you that's watching this, including anybody that's listening to this, including anything around me. I'm not sitting in a chair, I'm sitting in the lap of myself. See, same thing. I'm not touching this book or holding this book, I'm holding myself. Everything is a product and a creation of me. Exactly. Everything is anything and anything is everything. So when I send these blasts to people, I say, how's anything and everything with you and within you? Some people don't know how to respond. That's cool. That's why everything is everything, anything is anything. This is why you see a lot of yogis or sifus or masters. They don't know what to say because there's nothing to say. There's anything and everything to be, but there's really nothing to say. So even me like holding these live streams and these live sessions, it's like, okay, I'll hold these, videos here and there, but it's like truth is truth. And truth doesn't need to be taken up for or protected or spoken for. It is what it is. But it is, according to this path, more defined with a certain kind of perception of life or what being live is or what this physical experience is in parallel to your spiritual existence. A human and physical experience is in parallel to your spiritual existence. Okay. Um, Next line of doorway is, what is alimentation? The definition or dictionary definition of alimentation is the supervision and process of nutriment and or nourishment. And this is what alimentation means. The reason why I looked at the word alimentation, because it sounded similar to elimination. And I said, okay, alimentation, elimination, elimination, alimentation. There has to be some kind of connection. There has to be some kind of correlation. There has to be some kind of string of correspondence because they sound the same and they're almost spelled the same. So that means that they are the same. Now I have to dig in, try to find out two words, two different definitions, so called. What is the one definition that these two definitions share? It's always about finding the one. It's not about one plus one. It's not about alimentation plus elimination. It's finding the one in the supposed two. 1 + 1 = 1. 1 + 1 = 1. 1 + 1 = 1. All right. So what is the one that's keeping this one and one together? So definition of alimentation, the supervision and process of nutriment and or nourishment. So I said, okay, elimination is a certain metaphysical process of alimentation in a different or abstract aspect of understanding, which means to purify is to be in a state of, to putrefy is to be in a certain kind of state of purifying, right? Purification or purifying is alimentation. Putrefy is elimination, right? To putrefy is to be in a state of purifying, meaning the letting go of one thing is the simultaneous creating of the next thing through hidden alchemical activity. The nourishing of a thing is the bring about and sustainment of that thing to keep that thing as that thing, with the projecting presence of that thing as the very evidence of a hidden formula being held in place and space by an unknown supporting system. That supporting system is the mind and the consistency of focus within the mind to keep the brain from splitting the unified reality and to keep the body from emotionally interrupting its gradual process of self-elimination, to ultimately suspend from the workings and possible entrappings. So elimination and alimentation, the relation between the word elimination and the word alimentation. Alimentation means the process or act of nourishing something. Elimination is like, eliminating, bringing things down to a zero state, bringing something which is of something down to its epitomal nothing, or the epitome of its nothing. As elimination process happens, maybe I can show this in hand gestures in a certain way. As the process of elimination is happening, there is a nourishing process happening. See, elimination, alimentation. Elimination, alimentation. Because this alimentation is arriving as a result of elimination to nourish something else to keep that something new present. So elimination and alimentation are kind of the same damn thing. They're parallel to each other. This is finding the connection. This is finding a relation, the correlation, the true correspondence between something that looks like two, but is actually one way of understanding, which is principle. 1 + 1 = 1. If you want to take it further, that 1 equals none. 1 and 0, 0 and 1, which is every computer is built on this kind of formula. Laptop technology, everything is ones and zeros, zeros and ones. The yoni and the phallus and the yoni, the penis and the vagina and the penis. To bring about life or take away life. It's the same damn thing. Masculine, feminine, masculine. See, 1 + 1 = 1. Just like a one person plus one person, they conceive, they bring about one person. I mean, it's too many, it's too much evidence, it's too much proof for me to probably even have this damn video. I can just be quiet and just point to things. It's not really a video. It's a live video, but I mean, shit is kind of common sense. So elimination, alimentation. Something has to be nourished. As this elimination process happens, something is left over. There's never nothing truly left over. So whatever's left over or being left over as the elimination process is being held in place, bringing that something down to its nothing or that one down to its zero state. Alimentation occurs as a simultaneous result because it has to keep something nourished, which is now presenting itself as the new it. Elimination is the old it. Alimentation is the new it, maintaining and sustaining a certain kind of biological or alchemical structure in place between time and space. Okay? 1 + 1 = 1. 1 + 1 = 1. 1 + 1 = 1. See, that's why it depends on what angle you're looking at it. What perception are you looking at something? Because if you're looking at it from this way, you're going to see 2. But if your perception, your angle of what you're looking at, perceiving of life, is looking at it from this way, you're going to see 1. And there's a purpose for this 2 and 1, 1 and 2. Kind of play of the brain and play of the mind kind of thing. It's saying, how are you seeing the reality? Oh, you have a left brain and right brain hemisphere? Okay, cool. Do you know about the knowledge of the corpus callosum? The corpus callosum is the one thing that sprouts the 2. So if the 2 comes from the 1, you know what I'm saying? Do I really have to get any more in depth on that? I mean, it's kind of simple. Okay, so that's where the word elimination and alimentation actually relate and connect in correlation with each other. Okay, and looking at things from the angle of the principle of correspondence. That corresponds to that, and that corresponds to that. All I have to do is find the middle thing of where these two damn things connect. And once I find the middle thing of where these two things connect, then the two things disappear. And this is the same principle that I advise or inform marriages or couples or partners to indulge in, to engage within the understanding of principle, the acknowledgement, attention, and understanding of principle. Because then she disappears and he disappears. And it's no longer about them personally or their personality or their creative personality or their creative program that keeps their false personality in place. It's now about focus, which is why when two people have a child, right, they become parents. Their focus is no longer on each other like that anymore. It's not too zoomed in or magnified on each other anymore. It's on the child, right? And child is chi, and chi is energy. This is where the word child comes from. So it's no longer about the two, it's about the one. This is why I said there's so many different things pointing to the evidence of this understanding and of this path and what I'm touching upon right now, which is 1 + 1 = 1. So you have to find out the spiritual child between you and your husband, or you and your wife, or you and your partner, or you and your significant other. What is the spiritual child or the etheric presence that you gave birth to? Not physical birth, but spiritual birth, mental birth, energetical birth. What is that child? Where's that energy? Which is why I said now you guys share one plan, or create one plan and share one common goal. That is your child. Your goal and your plan is also a example of your child. So you have to first show responsibility for your spiritual child before you actually have a whole responsibility for a physical child. 1 + 1 = 1. See? I can show this shit in so many different ways. It's just ridiculous. So that's why I said, so, it's a very evidence of a hidden formula being held in place by an unknown supporting system. Um, so, you have to, in order to keep your mind on this understanding, you have to you have to uh, not be emotionally interrupted, and that's the body, and thought interruption, which is of the brain. Thinking and thought, like I always say, and I'm always going to keep saying, thinking and thought are two different things. Thinking is of the mind. The mind is a free apparatus. Thought is an entrapped gray and white matter inside of a cave, which is what you call a skull. It's something you can touch, which means that it has met its end product. It has became its end results, which means if you are stuck in thought, then you will be an ending onto yourself. And anything that you do from thought and of the body, you are just practicing an ending. You're just practicing in the studies of an end, which is what they call. There's a study of the ending times. I think it's called eschatology. And it can get deeper even from that process forward, but it all depends on what angle you are you perceiving this knowledge from, because ending times is always happening. Hair is always falling out of your head, my head. Skin is always falling off of your body and my body. There's a constant ending going on for a constant renewal, elimination, alimentation. Your skull gets rid of the weak hairs or the brittle hairs or the split hairs. Alimentation is to purify the new growth coming in, the new transformation process being held in place between time and space. See? The next line of the doorway is, I'm talking about elimination, bringing things back to your zero state. Let's say, what is zero? What the hell is a zero? I'm talking about the zero state. And something came to me and I'm driving, and it came to me the movie Zorro. And Zorro, remember, he's on his opponents. He had the little sword thing, and on his opponents, he would do like a which is like a Z. And I said, okay, well, I'm telling Spirit, what are you telling me about this? And it said, right swipe, left swipe, then right swipe. And that creates the letter Z. And I said, okay, well, and immediately the understanding of our Egyptian ancestors or Cometian ancestors, which is why you see them doing symbols or doing stances like this, or like this, or like this. And you see these old statues and they're doing this. They're doing this, and they have these different stances, these different statues in these different stances. You have the left part of the brain, the right part of the brain, right? The left side of the body, the right side of the body. The left side is feminine, according to this understanding. It's something which takes in. Right hand is the giving aspect. So you have the receiving and you have the giving, which is why you see certain statues like this. They're taking in cosmic intelligence into their heart and they're giving out something. However, wherever they're pointing it to, whoever they're directing it towards or whatever. So those are certain kind of science, or they're giving out the heart and they're receiving something back in towards the heart because the left is also known as the heart side, feminine side. So this is known as the yoni or the womb, and this is known as the phallus or the penis. The penis is the giver, the yoni or the vagina is the receiver. So this is even in, for some reason I looked at the letter Z in the word zero. Zero is also the word Zorro, like Zorro, the character in the movie back in, I think, the 90s, if I'm correct, the early 90s, I don't remember, mid 90s. There's a movie called Zorro, Zarro. It's the same correlation, same connection as the word zero. And when he used to fight his opponents with his sword, I forgot what you call that, fencing sword or whatever sword he had, he would fight them. And after he like defeated them, or before, while he was fighting them or in battle with them, he used to do the Z on them, on their face, on their skin, on their shirt, on their back. He used to just swipe it. And it used to be, he used to cut into their skin or just cut their clothes, but you see this letter Z. And so anything right swipe is to give, left swipe is to receive, right swipe is to give. Um, so basically what I'm saying is it's right hand, left hand, right hand, meaning to give, receive, and then give. Now, what do you mean by all this shit, Blue? Okay, you're talking about zero, Zorro, left, right, masculine, feminine, right hand, right brain, left hand, right brain. But what are you saying? What's the point? The point is that Zorro is zero. Exactly. I see that. See this? My man put up a symbol. My brother. Exactly. Zorro with the sword. And sword is actually the S word. Remember, every word, every truth, and every word is within the word itself if you know how to break down the word and re-scramble the letters and spell it differently. It's a spell. You're a magician. Spell words to put yourself into a kind of spell to receive what the actual intake of that symbol or symbology is actually conveying to you spiritually. Z, right, left, right. Give, receive, give. It's a spirit. Once again, it does tie into understanding of 1 + 1 = 1 because you're giving all. You're giving all that you can give. And you're giving it to this physical reality. You're giving physical accumulation or physical gathering to this physical gravity bound reality so that you can receive, right? Right, left, swipe. The left is now you're giving, now you're receiving. And then that last swipe to the right that Zorro did with his sword means now that you now give. So you're giving all, which means you're shedding the layers, you're unraveling. See, you're unraveling, you're shedding the layers in order to receive a divine message, to receive the spiritual understanding. And then once you receive that, then you now give even more. So Z, Zorro, zero. It's all related. You have to find your 1 + 1 = 1 in anything and everything that you do and interacted with or interact with and connect with and come amongst. Anyone, everyone, anything, everything, according to this path. What is the equaling of one when you find yourself in a one-on-one interaction? What is the one thing which actually is in the middle? Like I said before, I can talk to you, you can talk to me, but we wouldn't be able to talk to each other if it wasn't first for the principle of communication in the middle. There has to be something there. There has to be a bridge to bridge the gap And that bridging of that gap had to be there before the two came amongst each other. Because why did the two come amongst each other? How can the two come amongst each other? So 1 plus 1 always equals 1. And focus on that one thing that brings about these two appearing things or two apparent things. See what I'm saying? So I just want to touch upon that at the moment. And even zero, the word zero has the word ero, which is eros. And you look up certain kind of mythology on gods and certain knowledges on gods, goddesses, and different things of that nature. Eros is also connected to the energy of what we know as love or love. So zero is z ero, loving aspect. Love has nothing to do with another because you cannot share love. You can only be it. You can't share it. You can only illuminate it, radiate it, and be it. You cannot share it. It's not something that is a quantity that you can give. It's only a quality that it is. 1 plus 1 equals 1. All right. The next line in our doorway is human bodies or physical bodies, right? Certain, or uh, these human bodies and or physical bodies that are born with both sex organs, right? A penis and a vagina, or vagina and a penis, which is what we call or what is known or titled as hermaphrodite or a hermaphroditic being, are a direct connection and evidence of true source, of our true divine spiritual source, into the source of understanding of the principle of androgyny or androgynous energy. Male and female come together to become one spiritual androgynous entity in the afterlife, or in the following life, or the following living, that transcends beyond their present physical relationship and endeavors and interaction and connection. Male and female come together to become one spiritual androgynous entity in the afterlife in order to be recognized. But why they do this? In order to be recognized by source their self as the source itself, to experience divine transcendence and at its most truest and purest point of existence. What do I mean? Which is why you see sometimes, like during marriages, of people who are married for about maybe 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years, when the husband transitions, um, you see soon after the wife transitions. Or if the wife transitions, soon after the husband transitions. And this because in the physical realm, they created such a bond that was even maybe even beyond their own understanding and comprehension of what was going on in their marriage or in their bonding or bond. That when she left her body, he left his, or when he left his body, she left hers, because there's a time gap. And since they were one and created a union or unification of some sort in the physical presence and the physical experience, um, their spiritual existence was being infused into one uh, phenomenon, which is what we know as androgynous or an androgynous energy, which is spirit, because it's none of these sex organs and it's both of these sex organs at the same time. So that's the point why people got married in certain ways. The spiritual aspect of it, from a spiritual understanding, is to become one entity. He knew he was him, she knew she was her, but they came together to become the it or the I or the am when they left their physical body. This is the whole purpose. And why they do that? For what? Why would they want to become one androgynous entity? Well, because they understood that source, or what you call God, or the omnipotent, whatever you want to call this thing, was of both of these sexes. It was a collection or a union of both of these sexes. So they knew that they had to make a connection in the physical realm in order to be fully connected in the spiritual realm. See, so this is the whole point. According to the understanding of this path, they connected in the physical realm to become one divine source in the etheric realm or the spiritual realm. So it's like a left side of the body leaving its side. What about the right side? The right side eventually has to follow and leave its side as well to still keep that one body intact, which is why she left first and he left after, or he left first and she left after. You can't have one side of a body making a crossover without the other side of it crossing over with it in some kind of due time or some kind of duration of time, unknown duration of time to the human mind or the human brain. And like I was saying before, hermaphrodites or people who were born with the same sex organs, anything physical is a direct reflection and evidence of that which is spiritual. See, so even something like that is kind of, to somebody who's not fully enlightened or understand, they'll see that as weird. Somebody who's born with the same sex organ. But when it comes to a spiritual understanding and spiritual enlightenment, it's not weird at all, because you're looking at that person as uh, a spiritual kind of message. You're like, damn, I only have a penis, or I only have a vagina. But how did this entity come out with both sex organs? It's to give evidence of an energy which is composed of both, but not in the physical appearance that we have between our legs and which you see and can touch and interact. No, everything physical is a reflection of that which is not physical. See, that's the whole understanding. Are you gonna fall for the physical shit, for the image, you can touch it and all this shit, or are you gonna understand that everything physical is implying something which is non-physical that comes with a deeper understanding of its function and operation. See, so that's, and when that's understood and realized, then that aha moment comes. And then that clarity follows along with it, and then self-realization is enhanced. See, so I was just saying that, that's just what it is. You know, making sure that's clear, whatever, based upon people who are hermaphrodite and both sex organs. You don't base your focus and attention on the person itself, because they're just a representation of something which is divine and spiritual. They just happen to come and appear with these parts, but that's just physical parts, and that dies, and that disappears and disintegrates when the heart stops beating, and that spirit transcends. So it's not about the physical parts of the image. What was I supposed to learn from that, from a metaphysical point of view, and from the understanding of principle? What was I supposed to take from that presence of that individual, of that entity? What was I supposed to understand about energy from that physical entity? And that's what you take from it. Okay? According to this path and this understanding. The next line of the doorway is a shadow, or the shadow, like a shadow. A shadow on the wall, you can see as a shadow, I may cast a shadow somewhere, some damn thing. But the shadow is the reflective aspect of the physical presence, but at the same time, an unknown hidden aspect of what we know as the seen and known physical presence. Meaning, we are all comprised of a hidden intelligence behind or inside the intelligent surface of our conscious forefront. Meaning, you also exist as an exact opposite reality of what you can see, feel, and think. Implying that just as much as you use the words we, us, them, they, you must also have to use the words me and I just as much or more within those same we, us, them, they situations and circumstances, in order to acknowledge the alternative truth as well within that specific place and space. So I was just saying, I was giving an example of a shadow on a body, where a body casts a shadow on the ground, or a body can cast a shadow on a wall, or anything that you're going over, that light is cast upon and directed a certain way, and you cut the light off, or you cut the light from getting from one side to the next, and you put something in between, your hand will automatically cast a shadow. Something that you are in the middle will cast a shadow on the opposite direction. And I was making the example that the shadow is the reflective aspect of the physical presence, but at the same time, it is still an unknown, hidden aspect of what is seen and known of the physical presence. And what do I mean by that? I just meant, you know, um, we are all comprised of a hidden intelligence behind and or inside the intelligent surface of our conscious forefront. It just means that we always, no matter how much we think things are normal and regular, and is to keep in mind and heart, Kima, Kimah, which is inside the book as well. It's inside the book. The understanding of what I just said is inside the book. Keep in mind and heart that no matter how much you are seen, you also have a hidden aspect of yourself, a hidden intelligence behind and or inside the intelligent surface of our conscious forefront, which is the frontal lobe. Okay, so don't never get too smart or too brilliant on anything, because there is there has always been an aspect of you which is always kept hidden from you in the subliminal and the subtleties of this reality, of this reality's ongoings. Okay, so like I said, when we say, oh, we, me and my wife, or me and my husband, or we're going over here, or and it's like, oh, look at us, or follow us, or what are they doing, look at them. There is no us, we, they, and them. Because remember, 1 + 1 = 1. So who is a we? 1 + 1 = 1. What is an us? 1 + 1 = 1. What is they? 1 + 1 = 1. Who are them? Who are they? What is them? So I said, as much as you use these words, us, we, they, them, you have to use the me, the word of me, and the word of I, just as much or more as you use the same vocabulary of us, we, they, and them. Because remember, once again, if I reach out 1 inch, I have to reach in 10 inches. If I reach out 10 inches, I have to reach in 100 inches. So you're reaching in more than you're reaching out, in order to get the understanding and the principle of what 1 + 1 = 1 truly means. What do I mean by this? What is meant to be understood by this? This is the whole point. Okay. Um, Next line of doorway is let me see what's this. Just gonna run through it pretty much. I said self-dialogue has to be mastered before one-to-one interaction and communication takes place. Self-dialogue. We always talk in our own mind, in our own, you know, thoughts or thinking. Self-dialogue has to be mastered before one-to-one interaction and communication takes place. You are in your mind first before you communicate with another or others. Attend to the start before you attend to the beginning. There's grades to this understanding of this path. You must graduate before you gravitate. See, you must do this before you suspend from self. Know what self is, involve yourself with self, and in that true and genuine involvement, you automatically begin to suspend from this physical reality. Okay? So there's grades to this understanding of this path. You must graduate before you gravitate. Self-dialogue, the dialogue that you have within yourself, within your brain, your mind, whatever it may be. Self-dialogue has to be mastered before one-to-one interaction and one-on-one communication takes place. Why? Because you are always in your mind first, and you are always there regardless, no matter what. You can't be in nobody else's mind. You can only be in yours. It's common sense. Okay? You must graduate that process before you gravitate. You must graduate before you gravitate. So you must be gravity bound before you become opposite of gravity or anti-gravity. You must be or acknowledge gravity and participate in gravity before you become self-involved in anti-gravity, from body to spirit, okay? Or from something into nothing, from the one into the zero, okay? The next line in the doorway is, together, you and her are together. You are together with your mate. You and him are together, right? Together is to gather. To gather what? To gather self. To gather both sides of your illusion into its true divine reality and truth. Into its one true divine reality and truth. 1 + 1 = 1. 1 + 1 = 1. 1 + 1 = 1. The word together means to gather, not to gather her with you or to gather him with you, or you two are together. No, it's to gather self with self, to gather the witnessing with the one who is watched, to gather the one who is watched with his own witnesser. Okay? To gather self, to gather both sides of your illusion, to gather both hemispheres of your left brain and right brain into one, which is once again the evidence of the corpus calostrum, to gather both sides of your illusion into its one true divine reality and one truth. To acknowledge and gather both sides of your present seeing and experiencing reality. I'm seeing this, I'm seeing a laptop, I'm experiencing this live, we're experiencing this live together. You know, it's to bring together both sides of your present seeing and experience reality. As one is seeing something else, as one is seeing, right? I'm seeing this. Something else is witnessing this. As you are seeing me, understand that something else is witnessing this seeing which is going on through the lens of your eyes. So, as one is seeing, something else is witnessing, right? As one is experiencing, something else is in existence or existing. It's just the well-known laws of polarity, or what we know as polarization. As one is seeing, something is witnessing through that seeing. In order for that seeing to see, there has to be a witness. So witness is the foundation to the structure of seeing. As one is experiencing, something else is in existence or existing. There is no experience without existence. Existence is the foundation of the structure of experience. So get to that existing aspect of yourself. Get to that existence. Recede back to that witnessing or that witnesser or that which is witnessing through the lens of seeing. Get back or reside back or resort back or recede back to that which is having, to that which is in existence, having a illusional experience or a physical experience. So get to the witnesser, recede back to the existence that you truly are, as you are seeing and experiencing this physical reality. See? Seeing and experiencing is the structure, but there is no structure without a foundation. The foundation is witnessing or the witness and the existence or the one existing. There's no experience without existing, and there's no seeing without witnessing. So you want to remain on the foundation. You can play in the structure, but structures get tall. See, when you lose connection with your foundation. It's possible. It's not always the case, but it's possible. So what I'm saying is just keep in mind an acknowledgement and attention of your foundation rather than having your eyes and your attention on the structure. Okay? Just something to keep in mind and on. So about two more. The next line in the doorway is, you think that there's two of you. You think that she's over there, or you think that, yeah, he's right next to me and he's over there. Oh, yeah, she's over there. She's sitting on the couch. Oh, yeah, he's in the kitchen, or he's in the bathroom, or he's in the backyard. There's no two of you. There's never been a two of you. You think there's two of you. You think that it's you and him, or it's you and her, and you're a couple and you're together and it's about us and we do this. There's no two. The word two, quote unquote, is the number two, right? Right. And the number two is the second letter in the alphabet, which is the letter B. And it's funny how the letter B is also the word be, which is be. Once again, you think you're two, looking at the word two is the number two. The number two, we're looking at the second letter. The second letter in what? The second letter in the alphabet is B, which is the letter B. But the letter B is also the word be, to be, not to do, but to be. And the number two is the second letter in the alphabet, which is the letter B, which means to be or to be. Like they have that statement or that quote, that phrase, to be or not to be. To be, T-O space B-E, is also T-W-O space the letter B. To be, the letter B. The number two, the letter B. The same damn thing. It just means be, to be, which is being, beingness. So no matter how much you think that you're two, it's not about doing and doing, it's about being. You can do for her and do for him, it's fine. That's your creation. But understand they're not something that is number two. She's not number two outside of you. He's not number two outside of you. She is one. He is one that you think is outside of you. That's why 1 + 1 = 1. Everything that reaches out automatically has to reach back inward in order to keep its reaching out consistent. There is no consistent or frequent reaching out without something reaching back in to keep this cycle going. How can there be any kind of source of something without a resourcing? There is no source without resource, and vice versa. So that means there is a circling effect. There is a going and coming, a going and coming, a giving and receiving, right? Giving, receiving, giving. It's a constant going, right? So who you think is outside you is not outside you, which means to be or to be. There's no need or want to be with another when you can simply just be, period. You're not being with another. You can't be with another. You can just be. There is no being with another. That doesn't even make sense, even according to the English language. How can you be with another? Be with an other? No. You be with creation, your creation, with you being the creator of your own creation. I am the creator being with my own creation, but most importantly, as my own creation. Absolute. It's appreciated. Greeting as well. Present to you as well. So you can't be with another. It doesn't make any sense. You can only be. You can do with your creation or do with an other, but you can't be with another. You can only be with self. You can only be as self or be self. Just simply be. Or just without the be. I am just. I'm just. And that's more potential. You're more validating and confirming something which is potential, rather than the possibility. So there's no need to be with another. There's no want to be with another because that can't happen. That is an impossibility. That doesn't make any sense according to the English language and according to the spiritual understanding. That makes no sense. That's an impossibility. Okay. And also look at the word one, right? The word one, O-N-E, is also the word own. Because if you pronounce the word one a different way, it's pronounced own. O-N-E, right? Own. The word one is also the word own, which is why 1 plus 1 equals 1 means own plus own equals own. Own plus own equals own. Own plus own equals own. 1 plus 1 equals 1. 1 plus 1 equals 1. Own plus own equals own. Right? Own is also, if you scramble the letters, you scramble the symbols up, is also the word now. Yeah, absolutely. It's oneness. Correct. It's also the word now. So one is the word own. Own is also the word now, right? Meaning remain as a now thing no matter what situations and circumstances occur within a relationship with your creation. I can't say with another because that's not a truth. With your creation, you created her, you created him. Why did you create them? For what reason? Why are you keeping them most closer to you, emotionally and mentally? See, that means anybody, everybody you keep connected to, you emotionally connected, and mentally connected with, it means that they're supposed to have a certain kind of devastating effect on you internally to create an internal activation, which is in turn actually self-initiation. And there's a science to it. The science is the word seance. You create your own internal seance, your own internal science. See, by alchemical activation. Absolute remaining censored, censoredness. You stay in the censor. There is nothing else going on. There's nothing else going on. There's only the censor going on, which is why you remain in your mind. You remain in this center of focus, in the center of attention, no matter what. I can't jump in her mind. I can't jump in his mind. I can only be in my mind, which means that no matter how much I'm scatterbrained, there's something which is remaining censored. Even for me to be scatterbrained, there has to be a certain kind of point of reference of censoredness or being censored or a censor. How can I be scatterbrained if there's not something in the middle making it possible for me to even be scatterbrained or scatterminded? There has to be something in the middle, a cohesion, a cohesive something that is making it possible for me to be exploding in different directions, to be scatterbrained or scatterminded. There has to be something of a gravitational pull that's keeping this thing in rotation. Because if not, then one would just fly off and get lost into the unknown zones of their experience. But they don't. They keep returning back to something. See, once again, implying the understanding and the reference and the importance of what is one. Okay. One is also the word uno in Spanish or in Latin. And uno, if you look at the word u and no, is also you know, or you should know, or you shall know. See? So even if the word uno, one uno is you shall know, you will know, or you do know. Everything is always resorting back to the knowing aspect. No matter what words you put it in, no matter what letters you spell it as, it doesn't matter. The truth, the divine understanding, and the spiritual understanding in that word or what that word is about is like literally within the spelling of the word itself. So no matter how many disguises, how many costumes and masks something puts over itself, you can still unravel it and unlayer it to see what it truly means. When you have the lens of this perception according to this specific path, dealing entirely and solely within the realm and understanding of principle and principality, solely from the foundation of that. See, so also the word one or is own, and own is also a word one. O-N-E is the same thing as W-O-N, meaning that you have won already. Meaning you've already won the fight or any illusional fight. There's no such thing as an outside or an outsider or comparing or competing in existence and or opposition to you. You've already won. You are already one, ONE, and you have already won, WON. See, so if you've already won, then who or what are you fighting? What or who are you pointing at and talking about? I don't see anyone besides you. See? And this is like kind of a point in reference to the movie Fight Club when he was, he was talking to his subconscious, and everybody thought that he was actually character in the movie, this other actor, and he wasn't. He was just a product of his mind, but just as a seemingly thing or person or personality on the outside, but it was actually just an energy within him that turned the entity outside of him to spark an internal creation within him or an internal activation within him. See, and then he just didn't give a shit anymore and he awoke. See, and pierced or broke through the membrane of his illusional experience. See, so you've already won. That's why I'm like, what or who are you pointing at and talking to? Who are you talking to? Who are you pointing at? What are you talking about? All I see is you. I don't see nobody here but you, your wife, your husband. Where? Your family. Where? Who? Show me who you're talking about. Because I don't see nobody here but you. But this is the point that we have to drill in our perception, our understanding of this path. This is what this shit is about. The more you keep pointing and talking about these illusional characters around you, the more you get away from self. The more you get interested in her story, the more you get away from self. The more you get involved more in his story, the more you get away from self. Or the more you make it possible to detach or to separate from the true foundation of yourself. Because you're so involved in this going on, this biography, this documentary, her story, his past, their history. You're not coloring your own coloring book, and your coloring book is left blank with no color in it, and you're coloring in everybody else's coloring book. You're coloring her coloring book in, you're coloring his coloring book in, you're coloring their coloring book in. When are you going to put those crayons and markers and color pencils to your own coloring book, to yourself? When are you going to start putting in the color to yourself? When are you going to start painting in your own pages? See, this is kind of the realization of certain things. 1 + 1 = 1, right? The next line of doorway is only 2 more left. The variability of holding hands and hugging is the very evidence that some other subliminal intelligence you are is seeking to become one thing, or showing you that it's actually just one thing, literally. It began like that and it'll always be like that. And whether you know it or not, you're gonna always find yourself back in the grasp and the lap of that. You're gonna find yourself returning back to that and receding back to that point. Whether you know it or not. It's going to happen. It's bound to happen. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's if it's a truth to you on what I'm kicking, then this is meant for you. This is a part of your path or a part of your calling. See, this is the truth. Truth is not something which is universal. Truth is something which is very private and personal according to one's path, depending upon what path they're on. And if you find this relative and relevant to you, and you find this as a certain kind of truth as well, then this is the path, or this is a path, or the path that you are supposed to incorporate into your human experience at some point. Okay. Last doorway is you begin to work for and serve principle, and then principle begins to serve you. Well, how do I do that? Just by simply acknowledging it and giving it attention in a disciplined and controlled state of indiscriminate, unjudgmental balance and emptiness. ready to receive and take action in immediate application. Right? So this is how you start to receive the light and understanding of what principle stands for, what principle is, and what this whole damn video cast is based upon. All my videos are based upon. All this damn talking is based upon. Is based upon me directing or redirecting your focus of attention into what is known as principle, which is the thing in the middle. And once you pay attention to the thing in the middle, the things on the sides disappear. They eliminate their self. They go into self-destruction. This is why I say to incorporate this understanding in your relationship or in your marriage, especially if you're having trouble or you're having like challenges of accepting her personality or accepting his personality. Give acknowledgement and attention into what is known as principality, or that which is principle. Principle doesn't have a brain, a personality, explanation. All it is a presence and an intelligence and an understanding. It's nothing more, nothing less. You can't get mad at it. You can't agree with it. It's not something you can agree with, disagree with, get mad at, be happy with. It just is, and you just are. You just are because it just is. How about that? 1 + 1 = 1. So, this is why I touch upon these subjects in certain ways, whatever I'm receiving from a present channel that's going on in that very moment, like in this very moment. See, I'm touching upon these things because it's not it's not because I'm just here running my damn mouth. For some reason, I'm on this path. I don't question it, and I pretty much don't even answer it. I'm just open to the calling, and I'm open to be a vessel or a conduit or an opening gateway or portal for it to speak to me and through me, to you and through you in some way, in some form. You either get it, you catch it, or you don't. But it really doesn't matter if you catch it because it's going to catch you. Regardless. If you don't acknowledge it, or yeah, it's going to acknowledge you whether you acknowledge it or not. And when it acknowledges you, you go into action for it. So I'm saying to cut all that middleman shit out, acknowledge it, give it attention, the intelligence of it, the presence of it, the purpose of it. Because when that acknowledgement and attention into it and to it is a serving to it. And when you start to serve it, it immediately serves you and your agenda and your purpose, making a clear way for your path. See what I'm saying? It's not hard to understand for a simple mind. For a technical mind, it's like, what the hell is he saying? What's going on here? What is he talking about? I don't get it. He's being too spiritual. He's being too technical. Or I don't understand this divine thing. And what is he talking about, God? And this channel was just a little bit too heavy for me. It's too much for me. I just can't take what he's saying. Or I don't understand what's going on. Fine. I don't give a shit either way. But I'm here to be that speaker for those who are supposed to receive it, those who are supposed to see it, those who are supposed to be it, breathe it, live it, be live with it, and be live to their self as the live entity that they truly are, and the live energy that they always were and always will be. One plus one equals one. Now you kind of have a peephole or a crack in the door or a glimpse of what that damn title means next to the topics of my video. This is what it always means. Like I said before, to have more understanding or more even clarity understanding, you can check out the beginning section where it says, what is this being? What is this that I call, who and what really is this being that I call my mate, my partner, my companion, my significant other, my girlfriend, my boyfriend, my lady, my gentleman, my woman, my man, my wife, my husband. They're nothing but a creation of you because you are the creator of them, and vice versa. Amias Asium, am I am I as I am, as you are, as you are. Got a few copies left of the book. Y'all better come grab this before it's out because it's going down quite quick. But also remember too, November 15th, the 15th of this month, it'll be available on Barnes & Noble, thriftbooks.com, amazon.com. I still have the t-shirts, the apparel, Amias Asium. Different shirts, different color shirts, different sizes, different designs, different creations of it. I appreciate that. Appreciate that very much. Appreciate the support anytime and every time, family. Anytime and every time. As always and always. Get that energy out, get that spirit out, share that light, you know. You guys already know. Am I as I am, as you are. I'll see you guys next time. And until then, I'll keep it a vision. 1 + 1 = 1. 1. Most importantly, 0.